All right, in today's video, we're going to do the first sweatshirt that I've done on the channel. The fold is going to be very simple. We're going to do a spiral, but we're going to start in a corner. It's not going to be pretty because sweatshirts are real thick. This is 100% cotton. It's been soaked in soda ash and spun out, so it's barely damp. So first thing we're going to do is spiral this up, and then we're going to talk about how we dye it. Oh, and there's actually a bonus. We're going to do a muck dye at the end of this, and stay tuned for that. Okay, I'm going to pick a spot sort of here, and we're going to start a spiral from there. So it's basically going to create a pattern like this on the final product. Don't be picky about how this looks because it's so thick, it's not going to be perfect. I like it. It's big. I used a ton of rubber bands because I did want to keep this pretty tight. I'm okay with there being white in the final product. The tighter you squish things, the harder it is for dye to penetrate the folds. And I'm okay with a little bit of white on this. So we're going to ice dye this, and we're going to do dye over ice. So it'll be this on a rack, ice on top of this, and then we're going to put dye over the top of the ice to give it a lot of opportunities to split. So next thing we need to do is pick some colors. So we're going to do purples and blues. Blue violet, magenta galactica, Houdini blue, Bahama blue, great color, and ice blue. And I'm going to put these on in a spiral pattern on top of the sweatshirt. But next thing, let's talk about the bonus muck dye that we're going to do. So a few months ago, I got a comment. It was on a project that was sort of similar to this, and somebody asked, what would happen if you put a second spiral underneath the elevated rack, and you could get like a twofer, right? So you're dyeing your main shirt, and then all the stuff that drips through ends up on the second shirt. And I hadn't tried it, but I believe this is referred to as muck dyeing, and I have a specific need for that. So I was given a sheet. It's meant for, like, I guess, an air mattress for a little kiddo when they go over to grandma's house. So I'm taking this sheet. It's cotton. It's been soaked in soda ash too. And I'm just going to sort of scrunch it up around in the bottom, try and get it sort of level-ish. And then the goal of this is that this is going to sit in the muck, which is the name for dye water. And let's get the elevated rack on top of this. So this should have I'm going to say a lot of splitting going on. Make sure that looks level just a sec. A little high in this corner here. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to put the sweatshirt on top of this. And the last thing I need to do is a big old aluminum foil ice barrier around this. So let me do that now. Okay, ice barrier is up. Now, in this case, I am going to go real hard on the ice. I'm going to put as much ice as I can get in here, as much as I have, that'll fit over the top of this, because I need the muck to be pretty substantial, right? I need a lot of water in the bottom of this to sort of saturate the sheet that's below. And the whole point of this sheet thing is simply to show you what you could get if you tossed a t-shirt in there. You don't have to fold it. You could just crumple it. You could just toss it in there, and you'll see what kind of neat stuff could happen. So if you're doing an ice dye like this and you wanted to do a little experiment, you can toss something in the bottom and see what happens. So ice. Okay, so now we're going to go around this. This is a big old project. So we're going to go around the circle in a sort of pie slice-ish pattern, and just 5 colors around the circle. Well, that certainly is a ton of dye, so I don't think we're going to have a problem with saturation in the muck. But now what we're going to do is cover this up, let it sit for 24 hours, And then I think I'll bring it back to see what it looks like before I do the rinse out on this one. Okay, well, I have a feeling this is going to turn out great because there is some real pretty stuff happening here. So I actually had to add additional ice to this, and it took 2 whole days for the ice to thaw. The muck that's in the bottom is about 3 inches deep, and almost all of the sheet that's down there is covered, but there are some bits of it poking up, and that means there will be a little bit of white flashes here and there. And you can sort of manipulate that if that's what you were shooting for in like a t-shirt that you wanted to dye in the muck. But I guess next step is I'm going to go get this rinsed out. It is going to be a Herculean task because anything that has turquoise in it takes a long time to rinse out, and this is also very thick. So this is going to take a little while, but I'll let you know how it goes when I get back. Okay, well, these colors just work so nicely together. Really, really pretty. I have a good feeling about this. So this is the top half. This is the half that had the ice directly on it. And here's the back that was up against the grating. Also really pretty. A little more defined that this is in fact a spiral. The pattern is a spiral. So pretty diffuse color on the top, but on the back it's sort of settled into what closer to what how I applied the dye to the sweatshirt in the tub. So let's go ahead and pop it open. Oh, wow. What a great combo of colors. Okay, so the spiral began here, and that's why you're getting this sort of giant spiral pattern. But I love how there's such a difference between the two sides. This green is secondary because we didn't have something that was that green specifically. This looks awesome. So 2 things. I will bring this back once it's been fully rinsed out, washed and dried, and we'll also do the muck dyed sheet once it's fully dried as well. But this, I mean, talk about great colors. Okay, well, this turned out awesome. It lightened up in a really nice way. These colors, I think, lend themselves well to sort of the pastels. The little bit of green that was in here, you can still see. This thing's just killer. So, you know, sort of what I was expecting, and I'm really glad it turned out this well. But here is the surprise. This muck dyed sheet came out so cool. I mean, there is so much variation in what's going on in this thing. I'm gonna put in a little video right now that shows what this looked like when it was in the muck, right in the tub after I pulled the sweatshirt and the rack out. And based on how that looks, you would guess that this would be way more monotone, right? Just a lot of dark purple, not a lot of really interesting stuff happening, but this is super cool. And the implication of that is that you can basically toss anything into the bottom of an ice dye, and there's a pretty good chance that it's going to come out interesting. Meaning you could do a spiral, you could toss in a scrunch, you could toss in a pleat, you could do anything you wanted, and there's a good chance that you're going to get all this really interesting stuff happening with basically no effort or any extra materials used. So this is cool. I'm absolutely going to do this again. But yeah, I'm glad that this turned out as nicely as it did, because there's just so much more new stuff that I can start doing. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you want to subscribe too, that would be great. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one.